Hello, friends. Welcome to the second annual Rolling Through Barriers show, the culminating event capping off an incredible month of advocacy. We're so thrilled that you've joined us this evening for a special celebration. My name is Jake Aitchison. I'm a personal injury lawyer at Learners LLP in London, Ontario, and I'm sharing hosting duties tonight with John Shamoon, a rehabilitation support worker at Stride Rehabilitation. We're absolutely thrilled to be back with you once again this year, and we're so excited for the fantastic performances that we have planned for tonight.
Thanks, Jake. I'm so excited to be here for another show. I'm looking forward to the evening. Before we get into our amazing evening and seeing our performers, we'd like to begin by acknowledging that we live and work on the traditional territories of many Indigenous nations across Turtle Island. While we meet today on a virtual platform, we must recognize the importance of the land and our treaty agreements. We acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territories of all Inuit, Métis, and First Nation peoples. Further, we reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improve our own understanding of Indigenous peoples, their cultures, and their histories. We recognize our shared and continued responsibility to honor, respect, and care for the natural world around us as it supports and grounds us every day in our journey on the land.
Let these words serve to center our thoughts on the endearing Indigenous presence and the Indigenous right to self-determination while recognizing the historical and current oppression of Indigenous peoples in Canada and around the world. Let us acknowledge our privilege and work together to decolonize systems as we begin to engage in a new way of learning, being, and doing. Let us build relationships that honor and uphold the voices and values of our Indigenous hosts. We're all here tonight to celebrate the amazing success of this year's Rolling Through Barriers campaign. Rolling Through Barriers is about acknowledging the progress we've made in accessibility and inclusion for people with disabilities, but it's also about smashing the barriers that continue to exist in our communities. Similar to last year, the goal of the campaign was to raise awareness of these barriers that exist across Canada, and over the past few months, we've been touched to hear from so many of you across the province, identifying barriers, dispelling myths, and sharing their commitment to help build a more accessible community. The truth is, we all deserve to live, work, and play in communities where we can experience dignity and joy. And unfortunately, right now, that's just not the case. But we will continue to work together to achieve this for all. Before getting into our performances, we'd like to offer our deepest gratitude to all of you for your continued support for Spinal Cord Injury Ontario and the Rolling Through Barriers campaign. We're incredibly thankful for our powerhouse sponsors, and I'm going to list them right now. Thank you to our accessibility sponsors, Motion, Right Rehab, Monlika. Thanks for your leadership this year. Thank you to our inclusion sponsors, Greg Monfortin and Partners, Learners LLP, Cohen Hiley, and the Canadian Foundation of Physically Disabled Persons. And of course, thank you to our innovation sponsors, Harris Law, Lyric Investigations, and Stride Rehabilitation. As a result of all of our collective support and donations from across the province, the Rolling Through Barriers campaign has raised an incredible $46,000 so far this year, which is more than double what we raised last year. So again, thank you to you all. We are incredibly grateful and appreciative of every donation as they continue to fund vital programs and services for those who need it. Everyone should certainly give themselves a pat on the back, and we just can't thank you enough.
Thanks, Jake. Next, I'd like to introduce Wayne McDonald. Wayne McDonald was injured in a workplace accident in 1999. Wayne was an HVAC journeyman working on a rooftop air conditioning and heating unit. He fell on the pavement, sustaining a T12 burst fracture along with 3 skull fractures. After surviving an induced coma and 7 months of rehab, Wayne's new normal began. In the last 22 years, Wayne has coined himself a rock turner in life by always searching and never saying no to an opportunity. Wayne started by raising over $250,000 for spinal cord research. He became the second licensed disabled glide pilot in Canada. He's an advanced scuba diver with close to 300 dives around the world. Wayne competed on Team Canada in the 2008 at World Canoe Kayak Competition on Lake Bannock in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Being the first sanctioned outrigger disabled heat, he helped bring para-canoe into the Paralympic Summer Games in Rio. Wayne also competed in the largest long-distance paddling race in the world off the Big Island in Hawaii in 2008. Wayne is an avid kayaker and a hand cyclist who also completed the CN Tower Edge Walk. Wayne represented Ontario in wheelchair curling in 2018 and 2019. He's a musician and a writer for what is now Community Magazine. Wayne will continue to turn the rocks of life to create more opportunities and ventures.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to play a couple of songs for you, and thank you for that kind introduction. I'm going to start off with a song called Runaway Train. Call you up in the middle of the night, like a fire without a light. You were like a blowtorch burning. I was a key that could use a little turning. So tired that I couldn't even sleep. So many secrets I couldn't keep. Promised myself I wouldn't wait. One more promise that I couldn't keep. It seems like no one can help me now. I'm in too deep, there's no way out. This time I have really led myself astray. Runaway train, never going back. Wrong way on a one-way track. Seems like I should be getting somewhere. Somehow I'm neither here nor there. Can you help me remember how to smile? Make it all somehow worthwhile. How on earth did I get so jaded? Life's mystery seems so faded. I can go where no one else can go. I know what no one else knows. Here I am just drowning in the rain, with a ticket for a runaway train, and everything is cut and dry. Day and night, earth and sky. Somehow I don't believe it. Runaway train, never going back. Wrong way on a one-way track. Seems like I should be getting somewhere. Somehow I'm neither here nor there. Bought a ticket for a runaway train, like a madman laughing at the rain. Little touch a little insane, just easier than dealing with the pain. Runaway train, never going back. Wrong way on a one-way track. Seems like I should be getting somewhere. Somehow I'm neither here nor there. Runaway train, never going back. Wrong way on a one-way track. Seems like I should be getting somewhere. Somehow I'm neither here nor there. My next song is going to be a little bit more upbeat song, and it goes like this. Hopefully my sound's good. Someone could send me a message to make sure that everyone can hear me well. I'd appreciate it. Hold on, as we go, as we roll down some familiar road. Although the way is bringing us along, just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Southern, it'll be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. trouble it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Ooh, 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 ooh. Southern, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons that fill you with fear. And trouble it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Ooh, 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 ooh. This next song's a oldie but a goldie from the infamous Rolling Stones, and I have to say, rest in peace, Charlie Watts. And sadly, will be missed. I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black. I see the girls go by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes. I see a line of cars and they're all painted black, with flowers and my love hope never to come back. I see people turn their heads and quickly look away. Like a newborn baby, it just happens every day. I see a line of cars and they're all painted black. I see my red door, I must have it painted back. Maybe then I'll fade away and not have to face the fact. It's not easy facing up when your whole world is black. No more will my great ego turn a deeper blue. I could not foresee this thing happening to you. If I look hard enough into the setting sun, my love will laugh with me before the morning comes. I see a red door and I want it painted black. No flowers and my love will never to come back. I see the girls go by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes. Wanna see it painted, painted black, black as night, black as cold. I wanna see the sun blotted out from the sky. I wanna see it painted, 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 painted black, yeah.
Wayne, thank you very much. That was unbelievable. I'm really not sure what to say with the introduction that I provided to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Wasn't sure what else you could possibly do, and we know you can sing and play guitar. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. That was amazing.
That was amazing. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank you very much.
I would like to focus our attention to introduce our next guest. Her name is Shala Yagubian. She'll be sharing her family story. Shala Yagubian is a registered social worker and has worked in the field for the last 30 years as a couples counselor, child and family therapist, and clinical manager. Shala now runs her own private practice. Her practice focuses on attachment models, childhood trauma, relationship challenges, anxiety, and behavior management. Her lifelong passion for helping people is what has brought her to this work, which has spent most of her adult life focused on. She believes that solving a problem is about finding a new pathway and approaching life through a new lens.
Good night, everyone. I am so honored to be here tonight. My husband, Abbas Ekhtiari, is sitting beside me, a super active man that the accident happened 6.5 years ago to him. And our life has changed to so many different things that we are here tonight to share some of the very, very, very small challenges. The reason I decided to just go through the small one, because I want everybody with this, listening to the small one, and so many of us tonight, we are sharing different part of that. So I think that I'm gonna start with that, and then I share some of the things with Abba's permission, some of the challenges that we are doing together with both our boys. We have 2 boys as well. And I want to say thank you so much to all the people that they are here tonight, to donors, to a spinal cord injury as the most important of our life. You do everything by yourself, and all of a sudden, something happens to you that changes everything. It also makes you question your independence, as you have to rely on others. It even makes you question the meaning of things. Before the accident happened, all I knew about the wheelchair painted in the parking lot was that it meant the spot was for the people with disability to use. The automatic door button at some places meant that if my hands were full, I could press it, and or the mom who has a stroller or the person with disability can push and open the door. But after accident, the meaning of so many things in life have changed. That picture in the parking lot means if it is full, you can't come out the car and go to get your groceries. It means if someone who does not necessarily need the parking occupied the parking, you cannot go out of your car. That was the new meaning of that wheelchair painted in a parking lot. If the bottom of the door is not working, you need to wait until someone comes out of the door and you ask them to keep the door for you, which reminds you that you are unable to do things on your own. And that was another meaning of the things that it looks so small. If it is winter and you want to go out of your driveway, but the snowplow truck has cleaned the street and pushed all the snow in front of your driveway, you can't go out. Not for groceries, not for medical appointment, not for anything else. Your everyday life is different. You need to constantly fight for your most basic rights as a human being. Most of the people deciding about services for the people with disabilities have no idea what their lives are like or what the challenges they face. They don't live life like you do. And their decisions don't solve the problem you have. For example, when you go to the park and they put out lots of really nice tables, you go to sit at them only to realize they are too low for your wheelchair to go under. They also do not have any sign for dedicated wheelchair spots, of which there are always very few for the people with disability, which means other people have often taken the other spots. Could you believe it that on the City Disability Committee, we hardly have people or the member of the family of the person with disability, as this is not a requirement? There are just a few very simple examples, but you have these experiences every single day with every single thing you try to do, which can become quite exhausting. So, what do you need? What do we need? We need more and more support to a spinal cord injury. And we need more budget for a spinal cord injury. We need all public, private funders and organizations to add an ability lens to their decision making, like we are starting to see with gender. We don't want them to just put the picture of the wheelchair on their flyers. That's not enough for us. That is not enough for any people with disability all around the world. We need to make that picture meaningful. This is the message that we want all the organizations and all the funders respectfully pass it to everyone. We need CEOs, we need senior leadership, we need their staff to understand the needs of the people with disability. The needs of the person with disability needs to be part of their vision, their mission, their values. It needs to be a core of consideration of their policies, to core of consideration of their budget, of their planning. They need to see this as a part of their company's mandates. They need to have people with disabilities as a part of their committee to advocate and share the actual needs. Why do we need that? Because the people with disability, they are the ones struggling daily for purchasing their bladder supplies. They have challenges with everything that they want to purchase. And if they don't use the good quality, they have other challenges after that. why we do need them, why we need them to be member of committees, why we need them to be the part of the decision-making people, because they are the one who struggle with using the wheelchair, and only they have a right to have the new wheelchair every 5 years. And that's the only reason even after 5 years, that wheelchair needs to be write off to get the new one. And between the time that they applied for the new wheelchair until the time that they receive the wheelchair, how they can move around? Nobody knows. Do they have to be stuck in bed? Yes, because they don't have. It's not always an option because the wheelchairs is expensive. This is, nobody wants to understand. This is their feet. This is what they need to move with. That's why they need it. That's why they need to be part of the people who are making decision for them. They need to make a decision for the people like them because they are the one struggling. They need to have a spinal cord injury members who are the voice of the people with disability, to be engaged in the decision making. We need the spinal cord injury to be part of the decision making in every part of the decision making for the people with disability, because they are part of this society. Why we need the spinal cord injury to be involved in all of these? Because when the people with disability get through this situation, the only organization jump in and help them to understand what they have to do, it was a spinal cord injury. Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you so much to the founder. Thank you so much to the donors. Thank you so much to the people that they are here tonight. Then let's us all to be a speak up. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Shala. You've shared so many important things to all of the viewers, and tonight, and certainly for myself in listening to all the barriers someone faces on a daily basis that, you know, someone like myself might not even think twice about. What you have shared has extremely been impactful, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you kindly.
No problem. Thank you to all of you.
I would like to move on to donor support. Our donor support enables Spinal Cord Injury Ontario to continue delivering holistic care to those who need it. There's no cost to clients for Spinal Cord Injury Ontario services. While basic operating costs are funded by the Ontario government, Spinal Cord Injury Ontario relies heavily on the generous donations of our supporters to enhance client services and support, deepen our impact in communities across Ontario, and to invest in vital research, education, and advocacy efforts. With you by your side, so much more is possible. If you'd like to help amplify the work of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, please visit www.rollingthroughbarriers.com/donate.
But don't go there yet, because our next artist is Juma Williams. Toronto-born, Juma is a talented percussionist and dancer who's been thrilling Toronto audiences from the age of 5 years old. He has been a member of the Sankofa Drum and Dance Ensemble, a unit dedicated to sharing the joy of West African drum and dance culture. Juma hears rhythm and all sounds in his environment and can often be seen dancing or improvising to the sound of taps dripping, people walking, or raindrops falling. He is truly blessed. Take it away, Juma.
Yay! We're good, we're good. Tilt it down a little bit. Tilt it down a little bit. Just tilt it, yeah, down a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good, perfect.
Our feet.
And that does nothing.
Okay. I'm good.
Amazing. Mind blown. That was incredible. Oh my God, if I had an ounce of your talent, that was so good. Thank you so much. Wow. Lolly described that as electrifying, and that is true. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is phenomenal. All right, well, tough act to follow, but our next presenter is Dana Parsons. Dana is the owner and current managing partner of Right Rehab, overseeing the day-to-day operations of the company. Her leadership role includes growth and development of programs for clients, associates, and clinical coordinators. Dana has always been passionate about advocating for those in need by lending her voice and encouraging engagement with others. Decades of service on various school committees and working groups are a testament to her values and desire to empower others. Welcome, Dana. And again, it's just my mind's still blown. Take it away, Dana.
Thanks so much, Jake. You are right. Tough act to follow. That was amazing. So, wow. What an incredible evening this has started out to be. Thank you for sharing your family story, Shala. And to the artists, thank you so much for your talent. I'm so pleased to be here to be able to bring greetings and congratulations on a successful Rolling Through Barriers campaign from our team at Right Rehab. We at Right Rehab are entering into our 20th year of providing specialized rehab care to clients in Ontario. And we recognize the challenges and as therapists have shared the unique journeys of individuals living with spinal cord injuries. There are so many components of the vision and mission of SCIO that align with Right Rehab, and that is why we as a company choose to give and participate in the important work to support, to educate, and to advocate every year. The compassion we experience from the staff, the board of directors, and volunteers continue to inspire us to stay involved. In the past few weeks, I've personally witnessed this same compassion from our cheerleaders, Alex and Danielle, as they participated in spreading the word to encourage donations throughout the campaign and to show how our communities need to continue the focus on smashing those barriers. You see, spinal cord injuries are personal for us. We have personal connections. Our founder, John Wright's passion for helping people was also fueled by his family's personal experience. His father had an unfortunate accident and fell from a roof and severed his spinal cord. He lived the last 10 years of his life as a quadriplegic. This life experience drove John in his commitment and vision for Right Rehab. Shortly after the inception of Right Rehab, Barbara Ibbotson, John's wife, my mom, and our clinical lead began to suffer debilitating movement restrictions. After months of investigation and 2 emergency surgeries, she spent 10 weeks in Lyndhurst Rehab Hospital. Barbara's an incomplete paraplegic, the effects of calcified discs restricting her spinal cord. She still dedicates time every week to keep herself strong and fighting the effects of this medical oddity that left her partially paralyzed. When John created Wright and Associates Rehabilitation, he did so by gathering experienced associates with the highest clinical standards to support clients during some of the most challenging and vulnerable times of their lives. The goal was to help individuals as they strive to live the best lives they choose. He too worked as a rehab therapist for many years, supporting people with spinal cord injuries, helping them integrate into the community, and our current therapists follow the same respectful, compassionate model today. We understand the need to push for improvement, to advocate for change, and to support campaigns like Rolling Through Barriers to bring much needed funding and awareness to the general population, government, and decision makers. In the rehabilitation support world, we all play an integral part in making a significant change. Our recent receipt of the Award of Excellence in Rehab through the Ontario Brain Injury Association prompted a corporate conversation about how the receipt of this can bring more awareness to the need for inclusivity for all Canadians. Putting accessibility part of our constant discussions is mandatory. It is our responsibility to level up to the challenge and to work with and work for equitable access to all parts of the world around us. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to participate in this campaign and support the valuable work of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, as well as speak tonight. Congratulations on a very successful campaign. Enjoy the rest of the show. The wonderful talent here this evening. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thanks for sharing. And honestly, Right Rehab is an example for all companies to follow. On behalf of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, we thank you for your ongoing support, dedication, and commitment to the organization throughout the years.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree with you more, Jake. Congratulations, Dana, to you and the amazing people at Right Rehab for the well-deserved award.
Thanks so much, John.
At this point, we're going to ask that you dig deep and donate while enjoying the entertainment and impactful stories. We have an anonymous donor who has been kind enough to match every dollar raised tonight up to $5,000. Therefore, every donation you make will be twice as impactful and doubled today. The opportunity to donate remains open until October 13th. And this can be done at www.rollingthroughbarriers.com/donate. I would like to introduce our third artist, Elizabeth Winkler. Since discovering the joy and power of contemporary integrated dance herself, Liz has been an enthusiastic advocate for it. She came to dance from her studies in disability, including disability and art culture, and found that it gave her scope and form she needed to express and share her creativity, feelings, and ideas. After a brief period in Propeller Dance Company classes, Liz became a company dancer, teacher, and choreographer. For several years, she has been the company's lead artist. In that role, she has contributed to strategic planning, mentored and supported other dancers, and organized classes for the company with the Canadian international teachers, choreographers, and dance theater companies. In addition to her work with Propeller, Liz has performed Persian dance with Maria Saba and as a soloist, and has developed her artistry independently. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hello, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. And I just want to say that I'm really honored to be among all these artists and speakers, and that Spinal Cord Injury Ontario has always been there for me since I was paralyzed 40 years ago. So it's been an important part of my life. So I'm really proud to be able to share some of my work with you tonight as part of this presentation. I guess it was in 2015, Propeller Dance, which is an amazing dance organization for people with disabilities, had a emerging choreographers program, and I was one of those choreographers. And in that year and the following year, I created a piece called Spasticus, based on Ian Drury's Spasticus Autisticus. And you're going to be seeing a clip from that dance. This time it was performed at the Great Canadian Theatre Company. And the artists are Sylvain Bouchard, who is a wheelchair dance artist, and Natalie Johannes, who is a ballet dancer and contemporary dancer who uses crutches. So I'm really proud of this work, really proud to show it to you tonight. It's got a lot of passion and intimacy, and I think has broken down a lot of barriers and stereotypes with this performance. So end of thought. Can you hear me? Yeah, here we go.
Liz, I echo what everyone is sharing in the chat. Just what a powerful and beautiful performance. That's art that sticks with you, and we'll surely reflect on it, tomorrow and the day after. Thank you so much for sharing that tonight. We turn now to our last performer of the night, our showstopper. I assure you, we're all in for a treat. Our fourth and final artist is Courtney Gilmore. Courtney is one of Toronto's most unique voices and sought after comedy talents, named by Now Magazine as one of the top 10 stage artists to watch. She delivered a breakout performance at the 2017 Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal by winning the Homegrown Comics competition, and she's filmed the set for Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud network. Courtney's victory at the 2017 Just for Laughs Homegrown was the first by a female comic in the 19-year history of the event. Welcome, Courtney.
Hello, thank you so much. Thank you. This has been an amazing night. Thank you so much for having me be a part of it. I'm just gonna pull up the chat. Please let me know if you can hear me or can't. It's so nice to be part of an event like this because it's so powerful and it's so wonderful to be able to have disabled voices showcase their art and showcase just the beautiful power there is in the voices that we have. And it's also an interesting experience being a disabled comedian, because I get to indulge and watch with you guys all of the wonderful dancing and the singing, the guitar, and this beautiful stuff. And for my set, what you guys are going to hear is a bunch of jokes about everyone who's ever wronged me. So I hope that you can brace yourself for the contrast of tone. But no, I'm very appreciative of being part of this event. And please, by all means, donate to the website that's listed below, because that's very important. Comedy is typically an interactive experience, and since this is a different type of vibe, feel free to pop off in the chat. I'm still figuring this out, Zoom. I've been doing shows for the past 18 months virtually, and there's still parts of it that are still confusing to me. Like, for example, I'm wearing perfume right now. Who is that for? I don't know why. I don't know if I'm trying to impress you guys. I'm just wearing perfume on Zoom. I think I'm at the part of the pandemic where I'm trying to look like the girl who smells amazing. Do you know what I'm talking about? I want the vibe. I want people to spot me on the street a year from now and be like, you were that girl I saw on Zoom, and you look like you smell like Tahitian vanilla from Shoppers Drug Mart. And you know what? That's me. That's who I am. Okay, we got people in the chat. That's great. Let's do this 90s chat room style. I'm here for it. I will say this. I part of the interesting part of doing Zoom shows for me is I am an arm amputee. Okay, I'm a double arm amputee and a leg amputee. And first of all, post-COVID, no one is happier than me that handshakes are over. Like, I've got to tell you that. I was over it years ago. Okay, I was ahead of my time, I feel. Yeah, are we all on board for this? Some people's fingers are gnarly. Let's be honest about that. But I've been doing Zoom shows, and I usually have to, when I'm on stage in person, I usually have to address the whole no hand situation pretty quickly into my set, right? But Zoom is opening up a whole new world where I have the option and the luxury and the freedom to do the shoulders up situation. This is freedom I've never had before, I can go a full 7 minutes telling jokes and nobody knows, what's up. And at the 8-minute mark, I just bust out the nubs as a treat to myself. That is the way to live. This is healthy living, okay? This is accessibility at its finest. So I'm happy for that. I'm gonna put you guys on gallery view so I can get a little look at people. Also, if you're comfortable, I don't know if you guys have access to this, but if you are comfortable turning off your microphone to laugh so I can hear you, that's totally cool with me just for this performance. Let's be honest, it's the pandemic. I'm used to screaming into the abyss alone. So don't worry about it if you can't do it. It's totally cool. But all right, I'm gonna try and I love the emojis. Keep the emojis going. do the thumbs up. It's not rude. Don't, you can do thumbs up at me. Don't worry, I won't be offended. So yeah, so here we are, where things are reopening. I'm an arm amputee, and you know, I was born this way, and a lot of people, I get a lot of pushback for that for some reason. A lot of people don't believe that I was born an amputee, and you know, they press me on it a lot. I was doing an interview one time, and the guy leaned in, and he was like, "I just want to clarify, you've never had hands, right?" He's like, "You've never had hands." And I was like, "No, ugh, not even on my birthday, you know, not even for a Christmas gift from my boyfriend, you know." But I'm it's an interesting time getting back into society, reopening, right? Because now, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, as a disabled person, wow, did we ever miss strangers just feeling the freedom to say absolute crazy shit to our face, right? Where was that the past 18 months? Really missed it. Really missed it. I've, you know, we've all run the gamut of strangers' questions, but a recent one that I'm getting is what I think an able-bodied person's version of a compliment is that they will come up to me and they will tell me that if they were like me and they were missing hands, that they would die. This is what they would die. This is what people say to me in a Loblaws at 3 p.m. Okay, they say, if I were like you, if I were missing hands, I would die. And I think they mean it nicely. I think what they're saying is like, you know, they're coddling. They're saying you're brave, you're a trooper. You know, I know, and I'm like, I'm really a champion for drunkenly shoving pizza in my face at 3 a.m. I know, I should have a book tour. But the thing is, I always feel the need to comfort them, and I'm always like, you know what? If you lost your hands, you would be fine. You wouldn't die. You'd be completely fine. You would adjust to your surroundings. You would make use of your resources, and you would figure it out. You would be fine. You wouldn't die, you know? But then I see those same people take 45 minutes to figure out the self-checkout lane at Shoppers Drug Mart. And I'm like, you know what? You might die. You might die. I don't know. It's hard to say. You're not doing great now. So I don't know. It could happen. One thing I'll say is it's an interesting time to be. When I was locked down, I think we all had moments of like legitimately losing our minds. And yes, as someone is saying, please feel free to unmute yourselves. Yeah, absolutely. If I can hear you laughing, that's totally cool with me. But I lost my mind in a weird way. You know how a lot of people are saying that we've aged over the pandemic? I feel like I've emotionally regressed to like the insecurities of my teenage self. I was getting jealous over really petty shit. Now listen, I don't have a partner or a boyfriend. I don't have a partner that I can nag during a quarantine. So I was just like starting drama with DoorDash for no reason, you know, just to like feel something. I Speaking of, every time I hear the ding dong of someone coming on to Zoom, I'm like, it's like a little bit confusing. I'm like, is that someone entering the chat, or is that my fourth Uber Eats of the day? You know, I can't be the only one. But yeah, I was getting jealous. I'll give you an example. Last summer, I was on my way to a patio show outdoors, and I took an Uber. And as soon as I got into the Uber, I felt that me and this Uber driver were vibing. Okay. Now, I thought we were flirting. I thought we had good chemistry. Don't judge me. I hadn't had human contact in a very long time. Okay. So, me and this Uber driver are doing well. The conversation is fluid. He has all the things that I look for in a man. Okay. Bottled water, premium quality mints, breath mints, and a 4-star rating from at least one other woman. Okay, that's all I need. That's all I need. So I'm in the back of this Uber, we're chatting, things are going well. We get to my destination, and I get out of the car, I turn around, and I'm not 2 steps down the sidewalk. I look back, dude's picking up another chick. And I flew off the handle. I'm like, who the hell is this? You know, what's going on? I thought we had something. You know, you couldn't wait until I rounded the block before you start picking up your little hussies, you know? I was so mad. I was like, if I wanted this to be a polyamorous situation, I would have taken an Uber pool. Do you know what I'm talking about? Your mints are still on my breath, sir. Have some respect. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing it. I'm glad we're starting to get into it. But you know what? I am going to tell you a little bit about my life during the pandemic because it was crazy. I felt that like I'm in my 30s now, and I never felt that it really hit before, but I think the pandemic really accentuated it. And like, you know, it creeps up on you. Age creeps up on you in little ways here and there. Like, for example, for me, like now I'm starting to smoke weed exclusively to enhance the flavor of my favorite meal, you know, like to really bring out the texture of my food. Like it's not to party anymore. It's like this pink kush is making this sesame halibut taste amazing, you know? And it's the same with drinking. I can't drink anymore. It's like, you know, your age has hit you a little bit when you have to tell yourself to stop drinking at 9 p.m., but you're not talking about booze, just all liquid, you know, everything. By 8:45 p.m., you're like, I gotta polish off this pink grapefruit bubbly, otherwise things are gonna get squirrely, you know. Pink kush is good stuff. Yeah, it is, right? You know, that's the thing. See, are you whoever said pink kush is good stuff? That's also an age thing because when I was a kid smoking weed, I didn't fucking know the names. I didn't know the names of the strains. Now I'm like, oh yeah, my palate is really refined for a nice Northern Lights. Like, what am I talking about? I was watching a lot. We were all binge watching shows, you know? And is anyone here into like spooky stuff, like Halloween stuff, ghosts and everything? It's October, it's fall season, you know? I'm really into ghost stuff. And I found this show on Amazon Prime called Ghostly Encounters, okay? So I'm on season 2 of Ghostly Encounters, and so far, it just seems it's like people's real life experiences with the supernatural. And so far, it just seems like women who are meeting men that are so nice to them that they're like, this guy is dead. He has to be dead. Like, this is just not a real person. He's a ghost. And that's my takeaway so far. And a lot of the women who are encountering the ghosts are calling them their guardian angels. You know, this is like a popular running theme, is this is my guardian angel. I watched an episode where a girl met a guy at a diner late at night and he offered her a ride home and she took it. And once they got to her house, she opened the door, she got out of the car and she looked behind her and the car had vanished. And she's like, that guy, he's my guardian angel, you know, he got me home safe. He's my angel. And I was like, is he your guardian angel, or is this just where we are in our standards for men right now? You know, like, is this where we are? Is this what's happening? Is he your guardian? Is he your guardian angel, or did he just not murder you? You know? Because I can relate to that. Like, I've felt that way. Like, I've been walking home late at night by myself and I've had a man walking behind me. And one time the man passed, in front of me, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said to me, he said, I want you to know that I'm going to go ahead of you so that you don't think that I'm following you. And I said, wow, this is a very sad time we live in, but I respect that. That's very considerate. I appreciate that you did that. But that's all the props that I'm going to give him. At no point was I ever like, this man was delivered by Jehovah himself to guard and protect my life. My guardian angel. It's insane. You guys are a lot of fun. I have two short jokes left, and then I'll wrap up this show because this has been such an amazing experience for hopefully for you, but just in me observing it. And Oh, thank you, Dana. You too. A lot of people were getting into hobbies, you know, sourdough bread. We had like the phases, the sourdough, the pottery, the woodworking, the natural soap and everything. Like, I don't know. On one hand, it's like congratulations, but it's also like, who do we think we are, you know? But I got, you know, I was envious of this, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna join in. I gotta start something up, make myself useful during this time. So I got into BDSM a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I did. I did just a little, not crazy. Just like I thought, you know, if this whole year is going to be torture, might as well make it kinky, you know, have a little fun, have a little fun. So I did that. Okay. A little experimenting in the bedroom. I was in a Dom sub relationship, very risque. Okay. A little salacious. I was in a Dom sub relation. For those of you who are not familiar with kink, what that means, Dom sub, what that means is my partner is dominant and I am a substitute for his ex-wife. Okay. So that's going well. Oh my gosh. No, here's the thing about experimenting with stuff. You realize what your line is, you know, and that's a good place to, it's a good thing to know what your line is. But I realized my line is that I can't call a guy daddy. And that's like a big deal right now. Everyone is calling everyone daddy, you know, it's like a trend, but I can't do it. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, why can't I call a man daddy in bed? And it turns out the answer is very simple. Okay. I just love my dad too much. Like, that's all. That's it. It's nothing more complex than that. I don't know. My dad listened to John Mayer when we were growing up. I don't know what to tell you. I just can't call him a guy daddy. But I realized, like, how messed up is that? Like, how fucked up is it that I know now that there are things that I won't do in bed exclusively because I had a good childhood? What the hell? That's so weird. Is that a kink? Is that a kink by itself? It's just crazy. It's crazy because, like, there are women out there who have daddy issues that are enhancing their sex lives. I have fond memories that are ruining mine. You know? Yeah, I just know, but you know, now I know where the line is to draw in the sand. I know that someday I'm gonna have to be like, listen, I would love for you to tie me up and put me in your trunk, but my dad took us to Baskin and Robbins on Sundays. I can't. All right, I'll leave you with this. People were, you know, there was an uptick of dating app usage during the pandemic. I know maybe some of you met some people during that time, but I can't do dating apps. They just they stress me out. They're really stressful, you know. So I made it a goal to delete all of my dating apps from my phone, and I did it, and I feel so liberated, you guys. I followed through. Everything I was using to meet men on is gone. Tinder, Bumble, Uber Eats, Domino's Tracker, Michelle app, everything. It's all gone. It's all over. Okay. No more lunchtime quickies. But I found the craziest dating app out there that like solidified my decision was I found a really creepy dating app out there. It's called Happen. I'm telling you this so that you stay away from it. Okay. It's called Happen, and Happen is GPS based. Okay. So, yes, we're bringing coordinates into this now. Okay. So it's GPS based. And what happens is you log in to Happen and it's like, you've matched with Kevin and he's right behind you. Oh, thank you. No, absolutely not. Kevin, get the fuck out of my living room. I didn't sign up for this. All right. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your night and please donate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Courtney. Your COVID experience is like a coming of life story, your coming of age story. Oh, that was phenomenal. Thank you very much. All right. You might be wondering as we've talked, you know, all night about donations, about where your where your money is going to and what kind of difference it's going to make. Well, I can tell you that the funds raised today will be directed towards Spinal Cord Injury Ontario's advocacy initiatives, which include 4 areas. The first area is mobility devices. Mobility devices are for those with a permanent disability that should be which should be considered a human right over their lifetime. The second area is access to medical supplies. There should be efficient province-wide medical supply coverage program for all those with permanent needs. The third area is accessible healthcare. Clear processes and supports must be in place to ensure optimal healthcare for people with a spinal cord injury. And the fourth, but not least, is the AODA commitment. Ontario should be fully accessible by 2025, but we are certainly off course. We need a government that will make accessibility a priority moving forward and implement change that we all are crying for. In addition to being proud sponsors of Spinal Cord Injury Ontario's Rolling Through Barriers, John and I both spoke before the show, and we're making a contribution. And again, I want to repeat, and we're making this contribution because the value is doubled by this anonymous donor. So again, I can't stress enough, it's not too late to donate. You have until October 13th. If you'd like to donate, please head to the link below, and feel free to post it on social media as well to spread the word, because every dollar does count. Once again, John, this has been an absolutely incredible campaign that has made a real lasting and impactful difference. And like last year, my personal favorite part of the Rolling Through Barriers campaign has been the opportunity offered by Spinal Cord Injury Ontario to educate and change the perspective of those in the community, including myself, and I know you as well. Through SCIO and Rolling Through Barriers campaign, John and I had an opportunity to use a wheelchair to navigate downtown London on a so busy Saturday morning. It can be best described as a transformative experience.
No doubt, Jake. The experience, to be quite honest, there's no, you often hear about different cliches, and this is certainly something that if you're someone like myself who's not in a wheelchair, you don't really think twice about, how to go about your day-to-day on, where from point A to point B. Being in the wheelchair for that morning really gave me it changed my mindset completely and entirely. I think I spent a total of about, just to give folks an understanding of what we did that morning, we went from Learners downtown London, and we took turns on a wheelchair getting ourselves to the market. And it was supposed to be, what we would have considered, oh, this is going to be simple. We thought that one person was going to be able to do that. We ended up having to change our morning entirely, and we rotated amongst 6 people to get to the actual market. I will say it was one of the most challenging things I've done. I don't think I spent more than 10 minutes in that chair, and I couldn't believe how much swelling there was in my hands. And I reminded myself, like at that evening, as the day was going, I thought, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. So it certainly impacted how I think about folks who have to navigate in wheelchairs.
For me, the experience highlighted how the innocuous decisions and actions of people can create unintended barriers to accessibility. While we traveled to the market, a makeshift parking lot for cars was created on a sidewalk, blocking access to the building. On our way back, a local business owner had set up an A-frame ladder spread across the entirety of the sidewalk, thereby blocking our path and forcing us to go back and navigate a different route. Frankly, it was disturbing how issues of accessibility failed to register in the consciousness of these individuals. And that's why I truly love this campaign. With all your help, we're working to educate the public for the last month so that these issues of accessibility and equity are thought of, understood, and corrected in the community with day-to-day actions. Rolling Through Barriers, I strongly believe, is raising the community consciousness about these issues, and hopefully it'll affect lasting change moving forward.
Definitely, Jake. Before we say goodnight, we'd like to give an enormous shout out to our top fundraiser, Christine Lalacheur, who raised $2,465. We're completely blown away by your effort, and we couldn't be more proud. And to show that appreciation, you'll be receiving a special prize package that's going to be delivered to your home. So thank you once again. In closing, we'd like to express to everyone who's watching how amazed and moved we are at the support and donations that have been made across the province. This month has highlighted the barriers Ontarians face every day and the important ways we can work together to improve accessibility and equity. It's been an inspiring campaign. We want to extend our gratitude to everyone who was tuned in this evening and join us in support of this great cause. Thank you to Juma, Wayne, Elizabeth, and Courtney for their incredible performances, and a warm thank you to Shala and Dana for sharing your stories. Also, a huge shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Motion, Right Rehab, Malnica, Greg Monfortin and Partners, Learners LLP, Cohen Hiley, the Canadian Foundation of Physically Disabled Persons, Harris Law, Lorec Investigations, and Stride Rehab. Jake, I gotta say, just a very big thank you for all your effort into another year of rolling through barriers. I couldn't be more grateful to have been able to work with you once again. Thanks.
An absolute pleasure to work with you as well, John. Thank you again for the dedication, all the hours put into it. I appreciate it, as we all do. And again, thank you to everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a great evening, everyone.